If you're in the market for investment-worthy bags, watches, and fine jewelry, Rebag is the answer. Rebag is a luxury resale marketplace where each piece is carefully vetted and verified by experts to ensure quality and authenticity. If you're in the market, use Rebag to buy and sell finds from the world's top brands, including Hermes, Chanel, and Cartier. Head to Rebag.com to get 10% off your first purchase with code REBAG10. Shop today at Rebag.com. That's REBAG.com and use promo code REBAG10 for 10% off your first purchase.
The following is a GoPowerCat.com and Spirit Street production. You've discovered your link to GoPowerCat.com's PowerCat Overtime podcast, presented by Fridge Wholesale Liquor, and it starts right now. Now, let's go to the WTC Gig-Powered Studios. Here's your host, GoPowerCat.com publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
It is Friday. Well, it might be Thursday night when I put this up. I don't know. It's very confusing, but this is the Overtime Podcast brought to you by the Fridge Wholesale Liquor. I'm so excited that the week's almost over.
Hooray.
I'm so thrilled that another week is going by without me catching the Rona. Tim Fitzgerald, Zach Carlson, and Ryan Gilbert is on vacation. He's in Sedona, I think, channeling good vibes through crystals with his dad. Good for him. And we brought in a little guest today to help us out, a very special guest, and I mean special in every sense of the word. Ryan Black, the sports editor of the Manhattan Mercury, and also well-known for being a member of the Insiders on the PowerCat Insiders podcast, which takes place in football and basketball season. I assume we're going to do it again. I haven't asked anyone, but I think everyone will be game. It's fun. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing okay. This is the first time I've talked to you semi face-to-face in a while.
It's crazy. I'm a very social person, and I've been locked in this house. I mean, I went 45 days without leaving the house, basically, and now I'm venturing out, but now the infections are beginning to settle in. They're beginning to get more and more in Manhattan, and I might have to go back into lockdown. I am not happy, Zach. I'm not happy.
Oh.
I just figured out that I can get my booze from the fridge without contact, so maybe I'll still do that. I drive up after ordering on the app and paying on the app, and they put it in the back of my car, and I leave. I want everything like that. I mean, if I could just have drive-through food where I just pulled up, popped my trunk or my hatch, and they just threw it in the back, slapped me on the rear bumper and told me to go home, that'd be great. The less I have to deal with people, the better I am, and that has nothing to do with the coronavirus.
What's wrong with you?
But I'm also a very social person. I miss my friends. I miss you guys. Zach, this is the only way I've seen you now for 3 months.
I know. I brought you McDonald's once. Do you want me to do that again for you?
No. I've been actually, the Traeger has been really, really good to me. I've been cooking a lot, although Becky made incredible meatloaf last night. So it was, but back to the Traeger tonight. I'm actually, I think, beginning to lose weight because I'm actually eating healthier. Ryan, you were not familiar with what the overtime is and the stupidity that follows, but you're about to learn all you want to learn about the overtime because people ask us questions that have nothing to do with sports quite often, and we decided to answer them every Friday on the Overtime Podcast. So here we go. Your questions from Wabash Station. Zach is back to being the MC because Gills is off in Arizona with limited Wi-Fi, limited humidity, and lots of fun. So, Gills, hope you're having fun. We're not missing you. We got Black.
Well, you only switched him out for a last name, so that at least consistency.
I know. It's made it so easy for me. But it's also confusing. Sometime I'm going to be texting Tom Gilbert at Sports Information stuff for Ryan Gilbert, or I'll be sending you or many of the other Ryans in my life stuff that are for
the first two emails. This is kind of a side note. The first two emails from the Liberty Bowl were supposed to be to Ryan Lackey, and they came to me, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think you need, because they were like, when do you think Coach Kleiman will be able to do this, and when can you get your players here? And I'm like, I don't think this email was meant for me. And then Harold Grader, who's over the Liberty Bowl, was like, oh, sorry, Ryan, it's meant to go Ryan Lackey. I was like, I'm surprised it hadn't happened more, to be honest with you.
You should get all emails.
All the emails from
all
Ryan
of them.
Lackey.
No, all emails. Everyone's email should go to you. just to make it easy on us. Zach, I hope we got good stuff because we're going to start right now. Here we go.
Pretty good. From Exhausted Nihilist, Zach, is it too late for you to start a fake Twitter account for the MHK Gator on the Loose? Probably should have suggested that last week.
That is good.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan Black, since you're a part of an entire news gathering organization,
yes,
not just the stuff we do.
Yeah,
they never found the second gator, did they?
No,
not to my knowledge.
Oh, boy.
No, but man, those stories have done numbers on our website.
I bet
it's coronavirus and gators. Those are the two big. Oh, and Sammy Wheeler getting cleared of his arrest. But in terms of I say semi-sports stuff because the coronavirus, you count now K-State football, that's one thing. And I'm sorry, that is my cat. I did not know he was going to be coming in.
That is an added element to this podcast, Zach. We haven't had a cat yet. We have my dogs.
Yeah, I'm allergic to cats. I don't know if we can continue.
No, this is going to be. This will test the limits of this Zoom connection. So there's still a gator on the loose. Ryan, Zach had a great idea. If forced to change their mascot, Manhattan High now could be the Gators.
That is a very good point.
A good tale.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I like the idea, like you said, if they because guys, I mean, because I need to research a little more myself, but it's like right as I was getting here is when they changed, like, so now they don't have an actual costumed. I guess at some point they had a costume.
Well, they really have not had a costume in forever. They might have had one a long time ago, but like not in my lifetime. Not in the last 30 years, at least.
This is going to add a lot to the podcast. Don't worry about that cat one bit. I appreciate the input.
No, he's real friendly.
What is the cat's name?
This is Sonny.
Sonny.
But what I was going to say is I just remember that I thought the school board or the administrators had passed a resolution of some sort that like they were now going to adopt a wolf. It was going to be kind of like Kansas City. Yeah,
they voted on a wolf, and knowing some students there, they're just like, we don't really care.
Yeah,
like they haven't gotten a costume yet. I'm not really sure what the status is on that.
I think they need to pivot right into the gator.
The gator, I like it. Big fan.
A good story.
I mean, it'd be a unique mascot for the middle of Kansas, the Gators.
Yeah, and now you can name the Bishop Stadium the Swamp.
I like it.
Yeah, can't do the gator chomp though.
No, apparently that's. Yeah. I'm very confused at this point. I guess there's a racist background to it. I had no idea. Amazing.
To the gator chomp.
Yeah, it's now gone.
The chomp.
The chomp. Yeah, it's now gone. It's been.
Okay, I don't know how I didn't see this. I guess I need to look that up. I was not aware of this.
That was today. It moves fast now, Ryan.
Man.
I mean, things are. Aunt Jemima went out, which is probably okay, and then Uncle Ben went, and I guess Uncle Ben was the actual person who was a chef and a farmer. So poor Uncle Ben lost out. I don't know what's going on anymore. All I know is there's a gator on the loose in Manhattan, Kansas, and Zach needs to have that Twitter.
Next question is also from Exhausted Nihilist. If you were forced to leave Manhattan, what other city in Kansas would be your second choice and why?
Well, this is a horrible question for Ryan Black.
Yeah.
Ryan, you can sit this one out unless you've got something.
Yeah. I don't have a good answer for it. No, I'm going to set it out.
Well, I'm from Kansas. I grew up in Kansas. I'm from Salina, and I don't have a good answer. I really don't know. This is the only town in Kansas that I really want to be in. I mean, I guess the other answer would be something in Kansas City. But, folks, if I lived in Kansas City, I don't have kids, so I'd probably be on the Missouri side where the fun is, so to speak. I don't know. Zach, do you have an answer for this?
Not really.
I mean, you're from Manhattan.
If I was forced to leave, my dad used to live in Salina for roughly 7 years. I enjoyed going over there, but it's one of those, like, it's nice to visit, for like a day, like go get your teeth cleaned at the dentist.
There's nothing wrong with Salina, Kansas. I grew up there. I escaped the gang life, and I had all my tattoos removed from growing up in Salina, but it's a nice community.
Who are the active gangs in Salina, Kansas?
No, there was no gangs in Salina, Kansas. Salina, Kansas was a great place to grow up. a great place, and also a very culturally mixed place. So we had, predominantly white, but it was a good place. Salina Central High School was a good high school to go to, but I don't want to go back to my hometown, and I've got an answer. I apologize. I actually have an answer. If I had to move to another town, it'd be Council Grove. I would go down there, get a house on the lake, and make sure I had good internet, and never see you guys ever again. Just be sitting on the side of the lake, peering out over the water, writing my great American novel. Or not a great American novel, an average American. I'd settle for a mediocre American novel.
See, I wouldn't want to live in Lawrence, I don't think. But
like maybe
that's
town.
Where I'd pick.
It's not a bad town,
probably.
If not for all the bird flu infections over there, it's not a bad place.
Like, I don't want to live in Wichita. Wichita's just kind of, I don't know, Lubbocky, if you feel me. It's kind of like an oasis in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to live in Topeka because it's Topeka. And then Kansas City is Kansas City.
Does
I don't know.
Count? Yeah.
I don't want to offend anybody that's listening to this podcast. I know that there are people living in the places that I just trashed, but you listen to this because you enjoyed Manhattan at some point in your life, and that's what I enjoy.
There we go.
Also, another question from Exhausted Nihilist. If you could build a new interstate highway directly from Manhattan, which direction and to what other city or destination would you choose, and why?
Well,
and this besides Riley's Whataburger in Edmond.
I don't quite understand this question. We've already got, it doesn't go directly through Manhattan, but we've got east-west, so that leaves us north. Well, I don't want to go north. South from here kind of goes to Tulsa-ish, so maybe south. I think if I had anything, I would want a high-speed rail to Denver from here. Not a highway. I don't want to be driving. You just gave me an option to do more driving. Give me a high-speed rail so I can be in Denver in about 3 hours. That's really high speed.
I wouldn't mind a 4-lane highway to, Cassidy or El Dorado? 77 and 177. If they made one of those 4 lanes, I'd be happy.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Not necessarily an interstate.
That actually was going to be my answer because, El Dorado is where I always go to get on I-35.
Right.
Here.
Yep.
Right.
And, now with that god-awful construction, it's abysmal.
Everything in the state of Kansas is under construction right now, particularly Manhattan.
Oh, man, tell me about it. So, that would have been my answer too, Zach.
Okay.
One of those two.
Yeah, north up to Omaha or Lincoln wouldn't be terrible, I guess. But
I wouldn't use it very often, but it wouldn't be terrible.
It don't really go there. Moving on to WTDD 2001. If you had to live in a 105-degree humid summer all year or a sub-zero winter all year, what would you choose?
Ryan Black, I'm interested to hear your answer.
Man, I guess I would say, okay, and the question was all year, right? Yeah. So if it was every day.
365 days.
It's like the defective biodome, I guess. Instead of getting 80 degrees and sunny, you get either god-awful hot or god-awful cold.
I'll be honest, I guess, and this probably, guys, won't surprise you given that you saw me in Mississippi. I would take the hot every day just because, cold, what about if I can't move my fingers? I can't, if I get hot, I'm going to sweat and stuff, but I'm still, I feel like I can still move around and do stuff. Like sub-zero temperatures, things might be frozen. I can't really do anything.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's more stuff I would be able to do with it hot than if it's if sub-zero temperatures outside, what am I going to get done if I have to go out and do anything? Maybe, I don't know. I'm interested to see your guys' answer.
Yeah,
it might be the opposite.
Zach, what's yours?
Sub-zero is dangerous.
Yeah.
105 degrees is dangerous, but you can function.
You can find
not
shade.
That deal. It might be humid. Yeah, if it's humid, that sucks. But you can at least somewhat function. You don't have to bundle up every time you go outside.
Yeah.
And worry about frostbite.
Yeah, that's my thought.
You have to worry about sunburn,
Yeah, that's true.
I'll acclimate to 105. You can't acclimate to sub-zero. You just wear a bunch of clothes and can't move.
Yeah.
Give me the heat, man. I want the heat.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if you guys were going to agree with that one, but okay.
Yeah.
Riley would have said cold.
Yeah.
Because he's lame.
That's why we got rid of him. We got rid of him just because of that.
He's absolutely right.
Okay, we got a couple weird questions there from two different people, but they're sort of related. From Gato Blanco in Mexico, a debate I had with friends. When you pee, do you pee through the hole in your underwear or over the top of your underwear?
This is a really good question. Ryan Black, welcome to the overtime. I pull down. I've never understood the hole in the front. I don't need that little thing in the front. I don't know. I'm a waistband pull downer.
You are a bad boy.
You guys want I don't
wear underwear that has holes in it.
Yeah, now they're just getting rid of that, aren't they?
That's not really a thing on most, nice boxer briefs or trunks. Maybe on boxer briefs a little bit, but on the trunks I wear, nothing, But I think the one time I did pee through the hole is when you're like a kid, when you're like 5 or 6, and you're like, why is there a hole in my underwear? And then your dad's like, oh, well, you can pee through it. And you're like, what? So you try it once, and you're like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done.
This is not convenient at all.
And then you never do it again.
Yeah. Ryan?
Well, I guess I actually have a different answer here, whereas like when I was a kid, I would pull down. But like since I do wear mainly, boxers where it has the hole, that's what I usually use.
Yeah, there we go.
I just unzip and I just go. What?
Okay. I'm surprised.
I personally would embrace going back to peeing how I did when I was a little kid. Just go into the public restroom and take my pants down around my ankles and pee.
Yeah.
It's very convenient. You're just out there, man. It's freeing. There's no chance of any spillage. It's great.
Can you guys see my cat when I'm talking? I just noticed he's on the camera.
Slightly,
he's staring at me.
But,
yeah. He's eyeing me, man. He's going that.
We're not really looking at it.
That cat.
Yeah, like going to like when you show up at first grade, who's been in public before and who hasn't. When you go to the bathroom, like after recess, and you see at the urinals, and you're like, "Is it your first time here, man? Like, have you ever been to a sports game with your dad and peed in a trough? Like, come on." You don't pull your pants down next to the trough.
I'm looking forward to going back to Tanner's and peeing with my pants around my ankles. That's going to be my new thing. Post-pandemic, Tim's going to pee with his pants down around his ankles.
We've got another pee question from I Like Pickles Cat.
This is great.
Do you pee in the pool?
No. And Zach, you can explain chlorine to me all you want. It still freaks me out that when I'm in Vegas, everyone's peeing in the pool.
No, I mean, when you're peeing in the pool, your urine will bond with the chlorine, and it'll create chemicals called chloramines, and that's actually what you can smell.
Nice.
Like chlorine is technically an odorless gas or an odorless, compound. So when it bonds with all the junk and the germs and the grossness, that's where the smell comes from.
Interesting.
So like if you walk by your hotel pool and you can, like if you walk through the hotel lobby and you can smell the pool, don't go into it. Don't go into it. You do not want any part of that. That pool needs to be backwashed.
Folks, this life advice from Zach Carlson is brought to you by the Fridge Wholesale Liquor. The Fridge,
Thank you, Fridge.
Making pee for pools since the day it opened. There we go.
But like, it's just, I can't even think, like, why would you want to pee in front of someone? Like, you can look at someone in the eyes while peeing, and they wouldn't know, but you would know.
Now I'm interested in doing it.
Oh.
I'm interested in just having a conversation with you, Zach, staring at you in the eyes while I pee. It's empowering.
Pee is gross.
Yeah, it is.
And then, like, you get it on your suit. Like, that makes your suit dirty, Like you just peed in your suit. Like, would you pee on the deck? No, you wouldn't. Don't pee in the pool. I guess another related question, it wasn't asked, but do you pee in the shower?
I have at times because I don't always have choices on when to pee anymore because of my issues.
Fair enough. Ryan?
I'm not going to say I've never done it. I don't do it regularly.
I mean, you could be a rower and pee on your hands. That one still freaks me out. That freaks me out.
What?
Yeah, they pee on their hands to help build up the calluses, like the chemicals in the
I've heard that. I remember that Moises Alou, the former baseball player and manager, said that he would do that when he played.
I have never heard of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I don't think because remember the Alus, they were like the only people who don't really use batting gloves. So they said, it makes your hands stronger if you do that.
There you go.
Which I always thought was crazy, but hey, I mean, I'm not a professional baseball player, so.
Now the cat's staring at you like you're a weirdo.
Yeah, well, he has a litter box. He doesn't really have anything to say.
Okay. I could use a litter box. That'd be great.
Up until probably a year ago, I was absolutely adamant, like, I do not pee in the shower. But, like, there's been a couple times in the last, like, few months where I'm just like, man, I don't want to go to the toilet. And you're getting in the shower and you just forget to go. And you're just like, whatever. Just do it. But, like, it's like, if you don't aim for the drain, you're going to get it everywhere. And it's still going to smell. It's disgusting. So do it limitedly, I guess.
I'm going to get you a T-shirt that says aim for the drain.
It rhymes. It's a good rhyme.
I know. I like it.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage, to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's here to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 15% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. I'm here to tell you about Boll & Branch sheets. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. They're made from the rarest organic cotton and designed to get even softer over time. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee plus 15% off your first order with code Odyssey. So head to BOLLandbranch.com today. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Next question is from Ema Wildcat 82. So how is it that Boise City, Oklahoma has a power cat on their water tower? Have some rogue alumni taken over the town? And he says bonus points for correct pronunciation of the town. And it's not like the one in Idaho. It's spelled like Boise, but as I learned in the thread, it is pronounced boys, which is lame. But it is more bonus points if Riley Gates can find it on the map. And I don't know if Ema Wildcat hasn't listened in the last couple months, but Riley has been removed from this podcast. But he would not be able to because it's in Oklahoma.
No. I didn't know that about Boise, Oklahoma. Well, I mean,
it's in the Panhandle.
They probably just K-State's pretty liberal with the Power Cat. You just have to pay licensing on sales, and you can use it for your high school.
I think you pay $1 a year or $1 for 100 years or something for the rights to use it, and then you pay the licensing on it. Like,
so I mean, whatever that is. If you sell T-shirts that has a Power Cat on it, you got to pay. Yeah, it doesn't cost the school anything.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a very good deal if I'm a school looking for a logo.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I think it's very generous case, and it's helped. The thought was, let's get the mark out there, and it'll help people identify it around the country.
Well, right, you guys have seen all the photos, right, of Mahomes. He played at high school at the Power Cat.
Yeah.
There in Texas.
Yeah, so, and then later in the question, he asks, how many other out-of-state Power Cats do we know of? And he mentioned Blue Springs, Missouri, has a blue one. And is this a subliminal recruiting tactic of former head coach Bill Snyder?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool that they let schools do it, and the only money they made was off of if they were making money too. So, but yeah, it gets the Power Cat out there, lets people be aware of it.
I think it's interesting. Like if you remember probably 10, 15 years ago, Washburn was using Wisconsin's W, or it was close. But I think it was eventually ruled that they were, and then they had to change it. But it was interesting how maybe a school like Wisconsin, where it's just a letter and it's stylized a little bit, maybe that's a little different than using a power cat. But kind of interesting the tactics, I guess. Wisconsin's like, no, don't use this. And K-State's like, yeah, here you go. Here's a free logo. What bothers me, though, is that a lot of schools, they'll like change it a little bit. Like they'll change like one of the lines to make it a different angle.
Yeah,
and, like you look at it
problems with
and
that.
You can tell.
When you intentionally alter someone's trademark so you can try to get around it, that bugs me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Notre Dame went after Chapman for using the little Irishman logo. It's like, come on, really? You're Notre Dame. Come on, man.
Well, the other argument is if you want the rights to the mark, you have to protect the mark. So it makes you look like a jerk, but it's just.
And at the end of the day, that's probably why Kansas State chose this pathway, is that way they didn't have to be the jerk.
Just license it for cheap. Next question's from K-Ned, and this is in reference to the retro baseball jerseys that K-State released last week.
Sweet.
Very cool looking. But is it just the White Sox T-shirt jersey that is retro, or are the crotch numbers and no belts coming back too? And K-Ned posted a thread where he posted this picture of, I don't remember who the player was, but for the White Sox, in the jersey, kind of that old school 70s, 80s look, full. It almost looks like a full uniform where there's no belt. It's just pants and jersey.
And they also had a variation of shorts, like a softball
there was a picture that someone put that looked like they were playing softball, but on the numbers weren't on the front of the jersey. They were on the pants right next to the crotch. So I don't think that they'll bring those back.
I mean, that's kind of handy. I mean, that way, if you want to stare at a guy's crotch, you can just say, I'm looking at the number.
Yeah, looking at the number.
Yeah, that's kind of handy. I don't know. I like retro as long as it's not fully retro. Because let's be honest, bell bottoms were never a good decision. Mom jeans were not a good decision, and they've come back both, and I don't like it. So you can look like you're retro, but don't go full retro, man. Don't do it like, if you want to have the retro basketball jersey, don't pair them with the 3-inch long shorts that show your testicles. Let's just not do that. Let's pretend that never happened. We never made a decision to have our stuff hanging out the side of the shorts, and let's go with reasonably length shorts and not fully retro. Same principle, different pants, retro top.
Shorter shorts are making a comeback in basketball. I'm not saying short shorts. I'm not saying short. But if you look back to the Michael Beasley days,
those things.
You look at those uniforms; they're wearing bags. Those were trash bags.
Those are ridiculous.
Now everyone, you want a nice tailored look.
I didn't know bell bottoms had come back.
They were back for a while. Yeah.
Like recently?
Yeah. I'm a fashion guy there around Black. You probably didn't.
Yes, I thought that was D. Scott in your office.
No, I'm high fashion.
Okay.
I'm also an international model, but people don't know that. So, just got to keep that under wraps.
Well, I'll just say I think the jerseys I've seen look amazing. I really like the way they look. Personally.
I wouldn't want them all the time. I just think they're cool for a couple games. I'm just really pissed they didn't get to wear their green St. Patrick's Day jerseys this year because baseball was canceled. Those were incredible.
I was mad because Pete Hughes gave us the scoop.
I know.
He told us on the Power Chat.
About the St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah. And then season gets canceled, and they don't. I think they might have done a tweet about it, like showing them, but I don't think they did any sales of green stuff. Like, it was kind of sad.
Man, every time I think about Pete Hughes and that chat, I keep thinking about his hat. I can't not think about that hat when you guys bring him up.
That's awesome. It was awesome. Yeah, he shows up and goes, "Oh, this is a video?" I'm like, "Yeah." Him and Stone Street both show up. This is video? Yeah, I told you. We said it was video. and thinking it was a podcast.
Podcast, yeah.
Yeah, we're sitting on a set, but it worked
I thought
out
they
great.
looked fine though.
Yeah. Oh, it looked great. It was very him too. I mean,
also, when I re-uploaded the Power Chats, by the way, everyone, I re-uploaded the Power Chats, so they're now a full hour, or both parts 1 and 2 are together combined, so you don't have to find another video for the second half. But look at the thumbnail that YouTube randomly picked for the Stone Street one. Like, I left it. It was so good. He's like mid-laugh, like it's clear. It is the best YouTube randomly generated thumbnail I have ever had in my life, and I don't think it'll ever be beat. It's like perfect.
I'm gonna go look
Absolutely perfect.
Okay.
Anyway, last question of the podcast from Exhausted Nihilist.
Man, he's exhausted when he asks as many questions.
I know.
That's like half of them, hasn't he?
Uh-huh. Yeah, he was.
Is that pretty normal? Is he always?
No. Sometimes you'll get one where, maybe the thread doesn't have as many questions, and somebody wants to ask a lot of questions, and they they have a lot of good ones. Like, I like Pickles Cat sometimes. He hasn't posted a whole bunch in a thread before, like recently, but there was one overtime where it was just him. Like, he asked all the good questions, so we let him ask them. Anyway, Exhausted Nihilist asks, thinking back to your first year of college, what other majors did you consider?
None. This is all I can do. This is literally all I've got. This is it, man. I can't even dig holes. I can only do this. I mean, I actually was PR, so I guess you could say I wanted to do like PR advertising, but really this kind of communications realm was all I could do. I'm good at talking, Ryan Black. That's it. That's all I got, man. I can talk, I can write, and I can juggle 3 balls. That's it. That's it. That's all I got in life. And beyond that, don't ask me to work out on your finances. Don't ask me to engineer anything. I can garden. How's that? I can do a lovely shade garden. It's hard to make a living doing it, but man, I can do it for you.
A what?
A lovely shade garden. That's right.
A shade garden?
Yeah.
What's that?
Our property's got a bunch of shade. So you have to have plants that thrive in shade.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've never heard of that.
Most gardens are like sun, like flowers want the sun. We have almost all shade. So
well, that's interesting.
I can do that. It's hard to make a living at that. It's hard to make a living just juggling 3 balls. And that just really never sounds right when I say that. And if I could ever figure out how to rotate the 4 objects, we'll say that, I could maybe be a successful juggler, but I never figured that out.
Can you juggle knives or swords?
I could, but not without harming myself.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you're right. Yes.
I used to be much more proficient at juggling, but now I have eye issues, so I'm not as proficient. But I used to be really good. I used to be able to do all kinds of tricks, but only with rotating 3 objects, not 4. 4 baffles me.
Isn't there a juggling kit that we found at the office?
Yes, I have the 3-ball juggling kit. They're nice little balls. They're like heavy hacky sack balls. They're not for hacky sack. They're juggling balls, so they're but they've got the little beads in them, so they're forgiving. When they hit your hand, they don't bounce. They're good for training.
You want me to go next?
Yeah,
go for it.
I mean, I'm like Fitz in terms of I never considered another major. I knew from the time I was in middle school that I wanted to go into sports writing, and I'm thankful and blessed to be able to do it. The only thing that I did have questions over was it was hard for me to pick my minor because I was split between history and English, and I thought, well, writing is something where to me it would be great to have a lot of background in literature and English. So I ended up going with English, but history was very close. I mean, it really, I just kind of did some research and I said, well, I feel like I can read up on history, pretty easily, as opposed to with English, hey, there might be novels and things that we read in there that, I wouldn't just randomly pick them up. But because I'm assigned them, like, hey, I'm getting exposed to something that I wouldn't otherwise. And I don't, and again, no disrespect at all to me. Like I said, I love history. I just felt like it would be something easier for me to learn on my own as opposed to some of the English things that I did. So that's the only dilemma I had in terms of choosing anything. Like I said, my major was never in question.
Zach?
Yeah, I don't think I ever I don't have a journalism degree. I got a degree in business, did marketing. Marketing was kind of what I wanted to do since high school, but, kind of after, going to college and it's nice learning what I learned in college, but I really think that if you want to be good at marketing or business or anything digital, if it's digital, get on the internet right now, start a business, research, watch YouTube videos. It's just, there's so much better options to be successful in business than going to, it's kind of like what you talk about with journalism, where they teach you print right now. Mm-hmm. It's not, I don't want to say that business principles aren't, translatable to digital, but it's, I don't know, stuff like that.
What's interesting about your background is you delve into all of our analytics now. You're on top of our analytics. So it's actually been a good tool for us to have you with that background and understanding what works, when it works, all of that stuff. It's all part of the game now.
Yeah. But as far as, I never thought of any other majors, but there were definitely classes that I've taken that I'm this wouldn't be a bad thing to do. I love geography. If I could make money doing geography, that'd be cool. But I don't know what kind of jobs other than being a pencil pushing professor for freshmen at wherever mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to be fun doing geography. I don't really know what kind of jobs would be there, but I always did well in those classes, and that was fun.
It's interesting you mentioned history, Ron, because I have a lot of interest in that, and that probably would have been something I could have pursued, but I'm not a very fast reader. I'm a very I plod along. I kind of have to soak everything up. And for English or history, you're doing a lot of reading.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I would have really struggled in that because of the time consumed, not being able to read. I would have had to train myself to read faster. And I don't know. Again, that gets back to I'm not easy to train in any area. I just can't handle it. I'm a simple man, guys. I think we all know that. We all embrace that.
I one time had this thing that I'm very much against, and I know that you guys have it in the way that your pages are created. I'm just very much against infinite scroll because I'm one of those people that I'm like, oh crap, I can't get out of this now because I want to keep reading more stuff. Relatable.
I find myself.
I know for what you guys do, obviously, if you have people who've missed multiple stories because you produced X amount of content, but for me, if it's a lot of related content that I enjoy reading, I'm going to kind of go down a rabbit hole of reading when I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't do this.
I'm that way on YouTube. When YouTube starts feeding me stuff, and then the next one comes, oh, I want this too. Oh, then I'll do this.
You might like this.
Yeah, this is.
I need to clear my YouTube search history and watch history because the YouTube algorithm on my iPad, it thinks I'm a person that I am not. It thinks I am somebody completely different.
Zach, what are you getting to watch?
I don't want to say out loud.
Okay.
We're not going to get into stuff.
That's nice.
All right.
Well, that'll leave people hanging.
It's political stuff. Oh. Sorry. Sorry for being.
I think I'm going to close this edition of the podcast with a very big personal announcement. I have bought an iPhone.
Oh.
After years of the only thing in my life not being Apple was my phone, I am probably less than 24 hours away from being full Team iPhone. Ryan, you're Team iPhone, right?
That's what I recently got. I've had both Android and Apple. And, I guess, and Zach, he seems a lot more, obviously, technologically savvy than me. I've heard people say that maybe Androids are better phones, but, they're just not nearly as widespread. So if, something goes wrong, you're a little bit more up a creek as opposed to everybody and their mom who does anything with phones or knows how to work on iPhones.
It depends on what you want. Do the people around you have iPhones? And is being on one ecosystem going to be more forgiving and make everybody work together a little more?
Well, I look at it from this standpoint, Zach. Everyone around you on iPhones, and they're going to peer pressure you, browbeat you into getting the iPhone until you get the iPhone, and eventually convince you that it's best. And it is. It is.
I'll say that I got it because, my thing is like, hey, I mean, I'm just going to use that example of what I said about how widespread they are. To me, if you forget your charger, a lot more likely one of your friends is going to have an iPhone charger.
Yeah.
That's just, and that's.
But here's my interesting observation. My Android uses a USB-C charger, which is common now with Androids, which is also what is plugged into the side of my MacBook Pro. So at basketball games, if I needed to charge my phone, ironically, I could unplug my Macintosh Apple product and plug in my Android phone with the same charger, but the iPhone uses a different charger than the MacBook.
Huh.
So now I have to order a bunch of lightning cables because I'm one of those guys.
Are you getting?
I got the phone. The Pro Max 11.
No, the Pro Max 11
with tons of memory. Yep.
With 3 cameras and however many. Yeah.
D. Scott has the Pro, and the wife has the 11, just because it was lavender. It's beautiful. It's actually really nice.
I have Pro as well.
So it's.
You switched, Ryan?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it came down to, I can't remember when it was, Zach. Oh man. It was sometime early this year. I think it was maybe right after the Oklahoma game. That K-State lost and blew a late lead there in Norman, that my phone, it finally just completely died, and given what I do with my job, not only covering K-State, but then needing to be able to get in touch with people at work, I just decided to go, like I said, and I use that exact example that I'm telling you guys is because so many people I work with and who I'm around already have iPhones, and I'm like, well, if I were to forget my charger or something one day, it's a lot more likely they'd be able to help me out as opposed to another Android. Before my previous one was an LG G4. But before that, I had an iPhone. I can't remember what number it was. But I've kind of switched back and forth. I'm not, how do I put it? I'm not for or against necessarily anything specifically. I just kind of like switching around, which I guess makes me weird, right? Because usually once you get the one thing you like, you just stick with it forever. But
so after nearly, I guess, around 20 years of not having an iPhone, I have an iPhone. It is in my possession. I tried to transfer data across. That failed like 4 times, and I finally gave up and got my contacts in there. I'll lose my messages. I'll figure out how to get photos across.
So you do have it now?
I have it in my possession.
I thought you said you were getting it tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to activate it. I haven't activated it. I'm still working off my Android because I've been busy. We keep having pandemic news and other stuff breaking. Recruiting and pandemic have made this a very busy week for the Go PowerCat news team, that's been good. I mean, it's good to be busy. And plus, I'm going to be I got a bunch of added responsibilities next week because I am actually letting D. Scott Fritchen take a vacation. I am uncuffing him from his desk and letting him go travel somewhere.
How about that?
I know. It's going to be nice. We're going to miss him.
Man, your food you've been cooking looks really good. I hate that you're not allowed to have people around.
It sucks. I do want to get into socially distant drinking around my fire pit with friends.
Yeah.
Because we've got that set up really well so that people can come sit around. I was texting with my buddies.
I'm kind of inviting myself if that's okay, because hopefully now that people see that I just live with my cat, they'll get on your message board and say, don't you feel sorry for Ryan? Not the one who's on vacation, but Ryan who came on that podcast that time. You should invite him over.
We should. Well, I'll have you over sometime, buddy.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that you appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll even invite Zach. I'll get I'll get a spritzer for Zach.
I should probably not go out to Aggieville then without a mask for a couple weeks.
No, guys, I got a feeling we're going to find out a lot of stuff about Aggieville in the near future.
Well, I've got a friend that works down in Aggieville that I hit him up last couple nights ago. I was like, hey, you want to do something? He's like, hey, I can't. I'm quarantined right now, waiting to test.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh boy, I saw you the other night.
And I'm wondering if.
I mean, obviously, Fitz, I know you're very passionate about the masks, and I mean, I'm one of those people where it's like, anytime before I go into a store, I put it on. I mean, I'm not sitting here wearing it right now, and I don't wear it at work because we only have a handful of people in the office as it keeping socially distant. But like if I'm going into a grocery store or any kind of store, I'm going to put it on. that's just out of respect for other people. I mean, that's why I do it.
And that's what people refuse to grasp, that it's not really protecting you. It's protecting in case you are infected.
Correct.
You can't share it as easily.
Yep.
And here's my metaphor, and this is a great way to wrap up an Overtime podcast. If you found out that you were immune to your own farts, but your own farts could kill someone around you, would you fart in public? No, you probably would stop and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be nice, and I'm not gonna sneak that fart over in the meat aisle of the grocery store because Joanne over across the way might drop dead from my fart in a week. I'll be fine, but she might die. I might never know she died, but if my farts can kill, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to stop farting in public, and that's why I'm about mass.
I'm shocked, Fitz, that's the one that you went with, because I was positive, given that we answered like 6 urine questions. It was going to be that example of, okay, if you're out naked and you pee, you could get it on someone else. But at least if you're wearing pants, it only gets on you.
Yeah, that one. That's really good.
I was positive that's what you were going to do, because it ties in all the,
And also, let's just be honest now. Due to prostate cancer, all peeing questions I'm answering pre-prostate cancer.
Yeah.
The game has been changed. I am Adam Sandler, and I could be peeing in my pants because everyone does it.
You've been listening to the PowerCat Overtime Podcast, presented by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. PowerCat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowerCat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.
With Blue Link Plus, you can access your Hyundai Tucson Limited remotely. Doors unlocked, temperature set, lost car found.
There it is.
Get complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.